Howdy everybody. I just said I'm just going to hit the play button. Got a second camera here. So far not too bad. Hope everyone is having a great Saturday. So I got my Yeti microphone here. I got my 50mm lens. See my hand. So what else here? I have the webcam, which you're seeing me. And that is through my laptop. So I'm doing pretty good, not too bad, you know, technical wise, I'm doing okay. Mr. Steve Lang, how are you? Great to see you, my friend, all the way from the UK. Always an honor. Colette, how are you? How's everything today? I hope your day is going very, very well. I'm so happy you're here. Hey, Cats Gallery from California, how are you? I'm so glad you're here, Kat. Thank you so much for coming by. And we're going to finish up the beautiful and talented Ann-Margret. So that's going to be cool. So I'm excited. Mr. Brad, how are you? Good to see you. We have about a 4-second delay with YouTube and me. So if you have a question, just give me time with the delay and everything. That would be great. So very exciting. So I'm so glad that you guys, thank you so much, Stephen, for that. And so I have my maul stick, have my pastels, got my triangles, I have my triangles. I'm trying to speak better English. It's not always easy for me. So 6 concurrent viewers already. Yes, thank you for that. That is amazing. Thank you, Colette. Colette says she loves the painting. Colette all the way from Wisconsin. However, she's from Chicago. So that is great. So very beautiful group here today. Very happy. And so tonight's live stream is on my to-do list. Things that make me happy. So I'm glad I'm able to go ahead and work on her hair, finish this up, and you know, make this happen. So let's see, I have my water. Oh man, I dropped all my triangles on the ground. That is really messy. No worries. Gives me another thing to put on my to-do list. Now the interesting is, this live stream, the Airbrush live stream, is totally different from the Airbrush live stream. So the Pastel live stream, Airbrush live stream is a different setup. So in my studio I have to set up the pastels and the laptop and the camera, and it's a big to do, but it's worth it hanging out with everybody. So we definitely can work on the hair a little bit. So right here it's a little bit darker, like a darker red. Her hair is really interesting because it gives me an excuse to really use some of these red pastels. See, we could go right in here and just pull out this red here. Some really interesting reds. Like fire engine red is in her hair. And that's the thing, you don't want to have any kind of dogma, like you don't use this color for that and only use this color for this. You know, you want to keep things open for whatever your eyes see at the time. I think David Hockney said that paintings are documents, and I think it's so true. Paintings are documents. At least for my life, they have been. Where I am, what my state of mind is, what's going on in my life. I can remember everything going on in my life as, you know, pertaining to the painting, which is very interesting. So I have the painting up on my other computer. And this computer, the second computer in my studio, it's another desktop, but it's not hooked up to the internet. It's just my pastel reference computer. So with the hair, you just have to be really tenacious and just stick with it. Now, if you have the red and you give less pressure, it's really cool because it actually creates more of a golden color, like a deeper gold. Right here is kind of Indian yellow, right coming down these hairs. Let's see how we're going to handle it. Just some hairs in here, and then I could lighten it up. Now, the best way to lighten this up, of course, is with a pastel pencil. It's much better than trying to do that with regular pastels. Alright, so this is definitely a job for my eyeglasses. Let me go get them. And let me get in here. Now what happens when you use pastel, you may drag some of that color. So my first instinct is to paint over it, but a lot of times your first instinct is not the best. So let's try and get rid of the dragging of the dark. Pull this over. So one of the things I want to talk about, you ever work on a painting and you get towards the end and you just don't want to paint it anymore? That's when the rubber really meets the road as for what you have to do as an artist. You have to keep that intensity, right? Otherwise you did all that hard work for nothing. You don't want to run out of gas. So make sure that, you know, even though, see if this pencil sharpener works. That didn't sound too good. Nope. So I'm going to have to get my razor blade, and we're going to sharpen this the old-fashioned way. Okay, so now I have a nice point, right? So we're good. And hey, Mike Deloach, how you doing? So glad you're here, my friend. So even though this is the airbrush, this is the pastel portion of my channel, I want to talk about a really great thing that Mr. Mike Deloach actually donated for a contest that is going to be coming up, a jewelry contest. And we don't have all the specifics, but the first prize, it's going to be for the month of October. the judging is going to be the week of the 30th of October. And the first prize is going to be an customized Extreme Patriot arrow. So that's very exciting. So I just want to thank Mr. Mike Deloach for that. I mean, how generous is that? And what a great thing for the channel to have a contest where we actually give away an airbrush. Nameless, how's it going? Good to see you, my friend. Oh, your battery is dying, Mr. Nameless. Oh, man. I hope that gets resolved. So, you know, hair is pretty tricky. You would think that it is all even, but it really is very much chaos. So when these little areas, you want to make sure that we express some of the chaos that's going on in this hair region here. And then here it's yellow, and then when it comes out it's this like really deep orangey color. Let's see if this does the trick. Yeah, this is good. There we go. Let's see here. We'll come over here. So what do you guys think of the for the Airbrush live stream, having a contest where the grand prize is going to be an airbrush? What do you guys think of that? So it's really interesting, since I'm doing these kind of live streams in this area, it's not as comfortable yet as when I do the live streams over in, you know, on the other end of the studio. Just a little bit, I haven't really found my comfort zone yet. Oh, fantastic. So Nameless is down, and so is Steve Lang and Colette. That is great. So very exciting stuff. Oh, so I'm so glad you're here, Mike. So Mike Deloach, how have you been, sir? Now we're going to do some of the errant hairs, the stray hairs. We'll see how this goes. And you definitely want to do that with the airbrush. I mean, with the pastel pencils. So hairs next to a dark background appear white. Hairs next to a light background appear dark. Just all these little hairs. That's going to help us to feel like she's not pasted in here, right? We don't want her to look pasted. We want her to look like there's air around her. And the only way to do that is by having atmosphere and soft edges and crazy hairs. So this, of course, is a commission, and so it was pretty cool to do my commission with everybody. My first pastel commission in years. Gotta make sure I don't make the hairs too thin, because if you do, the hairs will kind of look like wire, and that's not good. Okay, right here we can start working on the face a little bit. Soften up. So this is called the Retro Ocularis Oculi Fat, which is the Retro Ocularis Oculi Fat, which is this little fat deposit that's below the eyebrow, above the eyelid, and to the outside there's a deposit of fat there, and so that's very important to know, because it's easy to find, and it's a very telltale sign, and it really will help you with her likeness, which is really good. Ah, thank you. Mr. Lang said that my pastel work is on another level. I appreciate that, my friend. So that is great. And so, you know, on my Airbrush live stream, I've been pretty much talking about anatomy. And that's what I'm going to be working on a little bit here, is working on the anatomical forms of the face, such as the mental fat, the malar fat right here, right? And then we have the mental fat right here underneath the lips. And of course here was the retro ocularis, retro orbicularis, retro orbicularis oculi fat right here. So we need to get these like real subtle shapes, especially in something like this, which is, how do you say, it's, I'm just going to blow this up so I can get the, go back here. I'll get rid of me here. There we go. There, so now what I'll do is I'll work on the focus. There we go. Okay, so now we're going to continue working here on some of these some of these anatomical landmarks on her, which we all have. Okay. And then eventually on the Pastel Livestreams, I want to have a contest as well. But what's cool, and your chances of winning is really good, because I don't know if a lot of people are going to actually enter. It's open to everybody. So first prize is going to be a customized by myself Extreme Patriot Arrow Airbrush, which is really huge. I mean, that's better than some national jury contest. Second prize is going to be a full set of Airbrush India inks, and third prize is going to be a personalized mug of anything you want on it, and I'll personalize it myself. So it could be of your painting, it could be anything, could be of a painting of mine, you know, have your name on it. So that's pretty cool. So third prize is actually pretty cool as well. And Nameless says, Tim, have you ever done character art? Asking people to look like cartoonish. Think that might come in handy for my current project. And he's working on a Port 7, but don't want it to look exactly like the person, just a reference. Oh, cool. Look at that. Brad said he's going to give the airbrush to his student if he wins. Very exciting. And so I used to do cartoons as a kid, as a teenager. I did a lot of cartoonish stuff, and I enjoyed it a lot. I really did. I think I have a young student right now, and one of the things we were talking about cartoons and everything, or you know, like good anime, and the consensus is that if that person knows anatomy and light and shade, they're going to do the best cartoons ever. So all this stuff is very applicable when you're doing cartoons. So just don't forget all the stuff you learned, right, when you're doing cartoons. Try not to let everything become flat. I think that would be a great project for you, Nameless. Try to keep things three-dimensional. Try and pay attention to the anatomy. So now I'm just going to do the shadow that the lips make on the chin. And let's see if I can blow up on the face. One more time. There's a real huge delay here. Let's see. I'll just put it right here. There we go. So I'm working in the lips area, and now I can focus a little better. There we go. Alright, I'll be right back. Just going to use little boy's room. Talks amongst yourselves. So I am back. Thanks so much for hanging out and waiting patiently. I appreciate that very much. So I'm just going to work on this lip area here, and I'm going to use my triangles. And let's see. So this side of the philtrum or Cupid's bow, I'm just going to accentuate it just a little bit. And then this comes over with a bit more authority. This comes down. Now there's a little bit of light underneath her nose. So I'm going to try and do it with a triangle first. If not, I'll just use a pastel pencil. Now mind you, this whole painting was done on a piece of regular like canson paper, that kind of thing. So it's quite amazing that I didn't run out of paper, but it just goes to show you that if you go from hard to soft pastels and make sure you don't go too soft too early, you won't have any issues. So you can see just how detailed I can get with these triangles in pastel. Now you see we have that little bit of a dark color. When you are painting people, there are no dark holes. They're reddish in color. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a red and I'm going to go right on the black there. And if all works well, the black will change that to a little more of a feeling of flesh as opposed to a black hole. There are no black holes. It's always a reddish color, whether it's the nostrils or inside the ear. There we go. That looks immensely better, doesn't it? Same thing here. There are no black holes. So this is an art spectrum. It is it's called Caput Mortem, and it's a very important color. And let's go ahead and actually I could make it a little more red, so let's come in here with a deeper red. That looks better, more life to it. So let's zoom out, shall we? 1, 2. There we go. So now that looks like a lot more life going on. I don't like the yellow in that hair, so I'm going to add some orange. Let's see if I can do that. This is a new pastel brand. It's called New Pastels. They're pretty good. They're not light fast, but they're still very good when you're mixing. So it's not, I've used these sparingly in every painting. They have a nice color selection, so I will use it. And I have never had any trouble, like the colors, you know, going crazy and losing their pigments or anything like that with the light. It's just, as long as you use them sparingly, they're good to have. They're inexpensive, and you can get a set of New Pastels for a steal. And let's come in with some deeper red, right? Some nice deep red. Let's see what we have here. This is interesting. It's like a flesh color. Let's see how this works. It's worth a shot, right? What do we got to lose? Bring some of these over. Okay, so we're starting to really get it looking like Ann-Margret, and I think that's what we want, right? Hey, Steve Leahy, how's it going, my friend? Good to see you. So glad you're here. How's everything going, sir? And so, let's see. Nameless said he started off with an actual photo and started drawing over it to change the features so it's more cartoonish and abstract, but still close to the original for what I'm trying. Go back to the anatomy and also to light and dark and try to add more of that stuff to the point where most cartoonists wouldn't do, and that will probably take it to a different level. Go. And now let's work on what we've been ignoring, and I've been ignoring her dress or sweater. I'm not sure what quite it is, what exactly it is. Let me put all my pastel pencils aside and let's get going with this here. So here, maybe we can deepen this green. Bring this down. I'm going to work a little more a la prima right now. Now, looking at this here, I can see that it is a little bit brighter over here, so I'm going to look for, I'm not just going to add white. Adding white would not be the right. So I'm going to go back to my new pastels here, and let's see what happens when we add this. The new pastels are really great because they are not too soft, but they're soft enough to go over the Rembrandts. And right over here, we can bring some of this color down. And I'm just looking and I was like, yeah, it needs more saturation, right? So how am I going to solve that? I need a little more saturation than I have. Let's see what this does. Okay, that's good. But that's a little on the yellowish side. So let's see. Can I solve this with just finding the right pastel color? Tune in next time. Nope, we're going to find out right now. Let's see. This is nice. It may be on the greenish side, on the yellow side, but yeah, see this a lot less on the yellow side. So this actually works. Now I got to be careful with the paper. I can oversaturate the paper with the pastel, so I got to chill. Maybe this nice yellowish color works well. Let's see. I just want to indicate some of the designs on the dress. I don't want to go crazy. I don't have to. I can just kind of indicate a couple here and there. Here. We're getting very saturated with this paper, and that's why it's the end of the painting, because I pushed it and to the level I think is as far as I want to go. So now for me to add more pastel, I have to go softer, and to go softer would be sort of like Winsor and Newton. That would probably be the route to go. So I am going to search for some green Winsor and Newtons. Not fake Newtons, Winsor and Newtons. Let me see any questions or comments. And, oh great, Brad's going to be ordering the Holbeins, which are my workhorse, that's for sure. And so let's come over here, and I'm going to be looking for some greens in my Winsor and Newtons. Here's a couple of greens, and these greens here are my Sennelier half sticks. And Sennelier is about as soft as it gets without being ridiculous. Okay, so this is what we have. We have these two Sennelier half sticks. This one I believe is a Rembrandt, I'm not sure. But look how messy they are. They're really super soft. I mean, it's like pure pigment, my friend. Let's see, watch this. See how that kind of trumps everything? It's so powerful. There's a little blast of light right here. Right over here is a beautiful blast of light. Just like so. Alright, so now we have that. But there's a little bit of white there, and I think this is a Sennelier half stick. And what I'm going to do is just kind of hit some of these real white, light areas, light facing areas. Now I have this. Gonna hit some powerful lights here. Let's see what else we have. Move the camera up just a tad so we can see more of her hair. Here. Okay, so this is very messy, this stuff. So let's get some of these packing peanuts, which I have a lot on the floor. Okay. So blend that together. So what's interesting, this comes out here, and then this green comes shooting out right like this. And this lighter color comes over here. Now there are some darks right over here. I don't know if you can see down there. Maybe I should lower this a bit so we could see her dress. Okay, so this is also a sennelier. You only use the sennelier at the end. You do never ever use them in the beginning or the middle of the painting. They're at the very, very end. That's a little on the blue side, right? So I have to calm this down. What's the orange? The opposite of blue, right? Orange. So just calm this down a little bit of orange. Okay, so there are these little shadows or little holes that are in her sweater. I'm going to use this dark greenish gray. I don't want to get too involved in this. A couple here, just to indicate, and then I can come in a little bit darker. So I need a nice deep dark green. Just remember the sennelier was a little too much on the dark side, but let's try a triangle and see how that goes. Oh, that seems to work. Just going to indicate a few of this little design on her sweater. Not going too crazy. So now I can come in with this lighter color and kind of accentuate these a little bit. And now I can come in with an even lighter green, if I do have it. See if this will do the trick. No, I need to go a little bit lighter. Let's see if we can do it with this charcoal pencil, white charcoal. See how this works. Yeah, we can indicate some of the three-dimensional quality of this sweater. We don't have to go crazy. Less is more. It's like the whole idea, you know, you don't go ahead and paint every single brick. You know, if you looked at Vermeer's painting View of Delft, he only really painted only a couple of those bricks, and the rest were implied. There we go. And it's almost 9 o'clock, so we're going to stop at 9, so that's good. It's a little white, so I'm just going to glaze over it with a nice yellow. Let's see how this goes. Yep, see how I can glaze over that white with this yellow? Continue with the white here. Oh, thanks. I appreciate that. Mr. Steve says I make the pastels look effortless. I appreciate that so much. So we're pretty much at the finishing touches here, but I don't like that greenish color. So I'm gonna look for something that I could add to it. Some dark green perhaps, that's a true green. And let's see if I could find something like that. This is like an olive green. Yeah, that kind of works. Kind of glaze this over. Kind of puts the shadow where it belongs, you know? Kind of, you know, low saturation, very low chromatic value. Kind of an ugly color, but it really does work. Unless you're an impressionist, you don't want your shadows to have like more saturation than your lights. So let's see just how everything is looking, how everything is cooking. Let me move this aside and just bring her over. Let me change over to this. Oh, well, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Pastels is great. If you can do airbrush, you can do pastels. Trust me. You just gotta join my live, continue coming to my live streams, and you're gonna be quite okay. Let me see here. Pull this over. Put this over here. Okay, so I want us to get a good look at how she came out. Come out further. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to change it to the 24 millimeter so you can see it. So one moment. Let's take a look. Ta-da! There we go. Okay. So now we can really see how she came out. And we'll lighten up Ann a little bit. There we go. Let's see if I can move her closer. So that's basically her in a nutshell. We make it a little bit lighter. Yep, so that's it. So that's how she came out. And so thanks for hanging out. I appreciate it. Let me go back to the comments. So that's really neat. Hey Mike, how's it going? Glad you're back, sir. Colette says she looks amazing. And and let's see, I appreciate that so much. Steve Lang says she looks absolutely amazing. Thank you. And Brad says Holbeins are on the way. She looks amazing. I hope that the person who bought her is happy. So she's going to be shipping out on Monday. So that's going to be great. So looking forward to hearing about what they think. I might go ahead and do some more resolution on her sweater a little bit, but not much, because it's not really about her sweater. Thanks, Nameless. I appreciate that. Yes, that's right. You can definitely catch everything. So it's always recorded, my friend. So this was an hour live stream. Sometimes I do 2 hours. My back's kind of hurting me today, so So thank you everyone for hanging out. It was great. Happy September 17th. And I will see everybody on Wednesday for part 3 of Kelly McDonald, which I'm very excited about. Oh, and next Saturday, which is really cool, we're going to do what's going to be very exciting. So next Saturday we will be doing the let me turn this back on. Yes, so next Saturday, which is pretty exciting, we are going to be starting a new pastel. So this is like the 3rd pastel in the series, which is really cool. So I'm looking forward to that. And let me make this big and see if I could. Okay, so basically the contest is coming up. There's going to be more information on Wednesday's live stream, which is going to be great. So looking forward to that. And Wednesday, of course, part 3. So next week is almost going to be like a airbrush live stream, because this painting, as well as the other painting before this in pastel, has an airbrush underpainting. So we'll be doing basically airbrush next week, and how I achieve an underpainting and how light or how dark I go before I add pastel. So that's going to be very, very interesting. So definitely next Saturday is going to be a very good class for pastel artists, also for airbrush artists. So it's very cool. And so that's it. Thank you everybody for hanging out. You're all amazing. And let me see if there's any final comments here. Oh, thank you so much, my friend. Always a pleasure, Steve. And I will talk to everyone later. Bye, guys.